my gosh, it's a 2021 rookie draft special. And oh my gosh, we got a Star Wars competitor potentially to come on in our show. Belford, what's up?
What is up? It is the what feels like the 6th month of the rookie season here for us, and it feels like this has been Star Wars week. We've had a lot of Star Wars competitors this week, but we got another good one because I'm on the show, so it must be a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like Star Wars is like a pretty big deal. Maybe it's I don't know. It's kind of this super duper indie sci-fi franchise. Not too many people know about. So,
very niche, very low budget.
Super low budget. That's movies are definitely not popular. They make no money whatsoever. Definitely no iconic characters, right?
Nothing. One or two. Some of them stick out,
space wizards are really cool. Aliens with really big boobs. I'm into it, but that's all good.
What's not to like? Space wizards are cool, but aliens are really big boobs. That should be on the IMDb page for Star Wars.
Exactly. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. It is a wonderful Wednesday evening. I'm here based in St. Louis. I'm Alex Mack, part of the Call Action crew, and I'm here with Billy Belford, and we are bringing on a Star Wars draftee, gold leader, Evan Bushkar. So he is a pretty famous dude and no big deal. He is from the Nobody's Watching podcast that he co-hosts with his brother Ryan. He's a big fan of not only Star Wars, Jurassic Park. He's a big fan of the Medea entire movie franchise. So this is fair to say this guy's a pretty there's a lot of stuff he's doing. Well-rounded, yes, well-rounded.
Seems like a well-rounded individual.
Well-rounded, indeed. Yeah. So let's go ahead and bring him on up. Gold leader himself.
Hello. Woo! If they ever do a Medea branch of the Schmodown, I'm there. I'm there day one.
Well, you got to go into singles or teams in that case. Can you do that? Are you up to that challenge?
No, not yet. Not until I've studied all that. But I know Star Wars. I got that much.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, Evan, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know this has been a very busy night for you overall. You are a handful of other shows, so I'm excited that you could squeeze us in towards the end of your evening. Where are you based?
I am from, I always say the Atlanta area. I live in Decatur. I live around the area as all these Dragon Con players, so I'm familiar with the area. But yeah,
you're down the street from Alex.
Yeah,
right.
I live. I don't know where. I shouldn't act like I know where he lives or something. I have no idea where he lives. But yeah, we're probably. I would reckon within 20 minutes of each other.
You just knock on his door, be like, "Hey, dude, where's my belt?"
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mentioned that in my audition as well. I said that he wouldn't have to pay for shipping if I were to take it from him. I could just grab it. So that's a benefit for him, That's
it's definitely easier. It's also cheaper, a little more efficient versus paying so much money to mail it for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All kinds of fees.
Well, this is your first time, being considered for the Schmodown Star Wars draft. So, and I know you found out over the Christmas period that you can send in auditions. And you sent it in over Christmas, and so you must have been pretty hyped with the opportunity, right?
Yes, I've waited for this chance for years, and then finally, I actually have emails in my sent folder from months and months ago, just asking if there was a way to join the Schmodown, and then I sent a Facebook message to the Schmodown page, and I was like, hey, is there a way to get in on this? And they were like, oh, we're actually holding auditions and we're doing a draft at the end of the month, so go ahead and do that. And I was like, that's my in. Okay, I'm going for it. Yeah. And so I've been riding high ever since. I didn't expect to get this far. I'm glad I did, but here we are, and it's pretty great.
Nice little surprise, right?
Yes.
Wonderful
very
surprise.
nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just want to remind you guys, everyone in the chat, if you have any questions, comments, whatever it is, please let us know in the chat. Also, we have a Streamlabs account thing open, so please let us know. And Streamlabs or Super Chat, any little bit counts to help keep the lights on here at C2A, for sure. Yeah, so Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. If you were a Star Wars farmer, what would you grow and why?
I would. Okay. I guess all I've seen. I mean, I guess there's vegetation in Star Wars, so people have to grow that. I'd probably be a humble moisture farmer. I know that's the obvious answer, but I would like to be able to say that I grow water. That's what I do. Yeah.
Belford, would you grow water?
No,
Are you a
I'd grow
humble
wheat.
moisture farmer?
I would grow wheat. Yoda would be my biggest customer, clearly.
And it's legal on Tatooine, actually. They just passed a bill, so.
Is it legal on Dagobah? That's what I got, because I'm going to get it to Yoda. That's the thing.
Right. That's good.
Well, if it's legal, it's not nearly as fun then. Let's be honest.
That's the right planet, right? Dagobah, that's where he's at? Dagobah? Okay, all right.
Well, something I'm kind of curious about is that you have been familiar with Schmodown for the past several years, obviously, but more specifically within the Star Wars division in particular. You've attended a live event or two, is that correct?
Yes.
Which ones
I go to Celebration every year. At least I say that like I've done it a ton of times. I've been to the last two celebrations. I was going to go to the third one before it got canceled. But last Celebration, they did a live match in Chicago between Damon and Scrimshaw. And I was in the crowd there. I loved the electricity in that room, and I craved it ever since that point. And so, yeah, it was a really fun event. Like, I love the live atmosphere. I'm excited to one day return to that. So, maybe one day, I guess, once this is all over.
Yeah. We keep saying that, so hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Fingers crossed.
Get back to live events.
Belford is, if you ever need advice on performing in front of the crowd, maybe I offer Belford's advice. I mean, Belford's expertise over here. He is in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Embrace the hate.
You're pretty popular dude.
Just scream a lot. Yell at as many people as possible. Use as many curse words as possible. That is the key to performing in a live event. So,
sure. Right.
Tap that stiff side.
Are not all. Well, when it comes to putting out saying curse words at a live event, it's not actually about the word itself, the act of saying a curse word. It's the vibe.
Right.
It's the attitude.
You have to make it sense. That's
curse word.
Yeah. You can get a lot of power out of these words.
Well, I remembered you mentioning when you were chatting with your brother on your podcast, Nobody's Watching Anyway, that when you described your audition to your brother, you really kind of you emphasize the word minutia. There's so much minutia when it comes to the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah.
In general, there's so many small details. There's so much general information when it comes to the world. So specifically when it comes to Star Wars, is there any aspect in particular that's intimidating to you, or do you kind of embrace every itty bit?
I embrace every bit. There are things that I have not studied in a while because this is all moving very fast. I found out I was in the draft like a week and a half ago. And so I basically, I just now kicked back up into some serious studying and everything. I just actually recently bought a bunch of extra guidebooks and things. I'm weaker at this current point, at the time of this recording. I am weaker on Solo and Rogue One in the Clone Wars movie, which is, I think, common weaknesses, just because they're outside the saga. But that weakness will soon be mended. That will be a thing of the past. So yeah, I don't think I have all that many weak points apart from that. That sounds conceited, but
how did you get into Star Wars? What was it that got you into Star Wars originally?
I am just it's one of those things I don't remember a time when it didn't exist. I mean, I was born in 96. And the special editions came out like right after I was born, like in
you
'97.
sweet star child.
Yeah, so basically, like I grew up watching the originals on tape and everything, and then my mom, when I was 2 years old when the Phantom Menace came out, and my mom took me to see it like 9 times in the theater. And so it's like I've been ingrained. This has been ingrained in my head for so long that it's just I can't remember a time when I was without that. So, and then, you know, I was a young kid when Revenge of the Sith came out, and that movie took everyone my age by storm. And yeah, I just ran with it. That's a huge part of my life now, though.
Okay.
Well, on that note, like you said, it's been so ingrained in your soul, you know, since forever for you. Now, being a Star Wars fan, what is the weirdest Star Wars fan specific moment that you've ever had?
The weirdest one that I've ever had?
Yeah, whether it be with another Star Wars fan, it could have been when meeting with a Star Wars person at Celebration. It could have been reacting to a movie when you were 9 years old. It could be anything, like something specific to the Star Wars fan experience.
Sure. I will say I don't know about this being weird. I will say that I've gotten in a ton of arguments where I adamantly defend a ton of Star Wars movies. But I love, this is like a death sentence to say this, I love The Last Jedi. I think that is such a great story. I agree with like every choice in that movie. And so a huge part of my Star Wars fan experience lately has just been defending that movie that I believe in so strongly. But in terms of other weird experiences, you know, I've met a lot of people at Star Wars Celebration. I met Ian McDiarmid, Palpatine. I met Sam Witwer, Darth Maul. I met the physical Darth Maul, Ray Park. Yeah, I've met a ton of these people. But it's always so surreal just seeing the people that you kind of grew up with on just like, you know, a little 4x3 screen come to life in front of you. Like, it's weird. Last Celebration, I saw Anthony Daniels, or Anthony, he goes by Anthony. I keep saying Anthony, but it's Anthony. Anthony Daniels, like doing
you gotta know this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, because he's you know, he's from he's across the pond. And so but I saw he was like 10 feet from me. He was doing a book signing. I didn't get to meet him or anything, but like C-3PO is like right there. Like, that's insane. So that's that is always weird for me. That will never get old. But yeah, that's my whole thing. I've met a lot of Star Wars people, and it's always weird, always different.
That's good. That's such an awesome. That's such an awesome memory, though. Yeah, you're not kidding though. Last Jedi. Obviously, we're not going to talk about pros and cons of that movie. We're not talking about whether or not it's a good movie or not, because we don't want to incite a war.
Sure. No, I totally get it. You know, it's safer to err on the side of caution.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I was like, what Belver, do you have any? I don't want to say are you a love it or hate it. What do I do? Do you have any
I'm a huge Last Jedi fan. It's in my top 5. I think it's in my top 5 last time when I made a list with a bunch of Revenge of the Sith loving people. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Star Wars is like, there's these movies that were made in the 70s, or, you know, and then there was this long wait for the next movie before we got another movie. So there was like 30 years to stew, you know, about what, right. And it's like, now we get more movies more recently, we get more content more recently, and people still have to find a way to kind of like complain or gatekeep or decide who's not a fan or who is. It's crazy to me. It's one of those things. It's like, but specifically to the Schmodown and Star Wars, this is easily the most packed year we've ever had in the Star Wars division. Yeah. The Star Wars division used to be, I mean, like, even last year, if you were like 1-1, you were like in line for a title shot at David. Now there's so many people with the tournament last year and all of the rookies coming from Dragon Con or Star Wars Newsnet or, you know, yourself, you know, these people that are entrenched in the Star Wars universe, it's going to be a crazy year. How do you differentiate yourself from these other Star Wars competitors?
I have a natural heel energy where I think I naturally want to enter this league as a total asshole. I want that to be my reality. I want to call shots and I want to take them. I'm so riled up for this. This is the shot that I've been waiting for years. So as soon as I get to take shots.
Let's be honest. When it comes to starting, there's been a handful of competitors. I start off as a heel, and it doesn't always work out for them. I mean, just as an example, with what's his name? Something. Oh crap. She had an IG match against Rachel. Oh, Rachel Cushing. I can't remember her name. I can't remember. I feel awful.
I can't remember the name. I'm sorry.
I feel bad. I know her face, not her name. I feel awful. Right. But yeah, so sometimes it doesn't always start. It's not always the smartest way to kind of go about is starting off as a heel. However, there's been a handful of times where it really does work out well. Thing is, you have to be pretty darn confident going into Schmoedown. So what gives you that extra confidence? I know you mentioned in previous episodes on your podcast that you like to play in a handful of Star Wars trivia shows and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I have a ton of wins. I've just been so bored this year, like in wanting this competition. I just started before the world was brought to a standstill. I was doing bar trivia, and then everything happened, and now I'm like, suddenly I have no outlet for my trivia knowledge. So I started finding all these like online webcam events where it's just they ask like really detailed Zoom trivia, and they'll say, hey, if you place in the top 3, we'll give you an Amazon gift card. And so I'm like, hey, maybe this could also supplement my finances. And so yeah, I have all these wins under my belt. It's all over my social media. If anyone looks me up, they can see all of that. But I have records. I have real records. And I'm confident in that because also I'm a really good studier. I was not the best student in school, but that's not because I couldn't study. I'm a very good studier. It's most of the time I didn't study. And so but I will for this. This is what I work hard for. This is like, I get tunnel vision. So
you'll study something you're interested in, not something you're not interested in, right?
It's in Office Space. Office Space is one of my favorite movies of all time. The main character in that movie, Peter Gibbons, he says, see, it's not that I'm lazy, it's that I just don't care. And that's the way it is for a lot of things. Yeah, if I care about something, I will go to the ends of the earth for it, and I care deeply about Star Wars.
Absolutely. Real quick, we did get a super chat before going over to Belford's question. Real quickly, Ben Rayner, one of our awesome patrons, is asking if you have a favorite character from each of the trilogies.
I do. Okay, so we're going to go prequels. I love Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels is like fantastic. I also really like Qui-Gon Jinn, but he only had one movie. But Qui-Gon Jinn is
getting his own TV show. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. So Qui-Gon is like the ideal Jedi, but Obi-Wan is the best character, I think, overall in the whole saga. But he's the best in the prequels, in my opinion. In the originals, I love Luke Skywalker. I think he is the hopeful pessimist, going from that kind of person. Like he's a sad person at the beginning of this trilogy, but he's still hopeful nonetheless. Going from that to seeing his doubts and fears, all of his personality being tested, to eventually becoming a pacifist, laying down his weapon, and then laying down his wife. Not his wife. Wow, he doesn't have a wife. Not anymore, at least.
Not those stories.
No. So laying down basically his life. He throws his weapon down and he says, "I would rather die than join you." I mean, he doesn't say that literally. He says, "I'm a Jedi like my father before me." But that kind of character growth is incredible. In the sequels, huge Kylo Ren fan. I love Kylo Ren very deeply. I think I love the the tortured villain kind of character, the one who you understand, but you also disagree with all their choices. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you would be really good friends with our very own Kelsey Kirkland because she is a huge fan of Kylo Ren and a lot of those anti-heroes and a lot of those villains like the Joker and Loki as well, where they're very conflicted. Where there's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of motivation behind the reason why they're villains, which makes a lot of sense.
That's true. And they're unpredictable too. Like they could change any moment.
There you go. That's our dirt girl, Kelsey.
Nice.
Yes.
Great. That's good. No, yeah, I'm glad to see other Kylo supporters here. I love the guy. I always have. But yeah.
I really do think though, talking about the trivia that you've done, that's a big thing that a lot of people kind of not underestimate, but they don't really factor in a lot of times, especially with rookies. Yeah, because it's not. I've always say it's not what you know; it's what you can recall. And you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't answer the questions in 15 seconds or the allotted time, then it's useless. Right. So I feel like that's really important, and a lot of managers should definitely know that about you.
Sure, I'm very. When it comes to Star Wars, I'm very good under pressure. I have a very deep well of knowledge that I've gained over 24 years of just random experiences with these movies. And so, yeah, I'm testable, and I've proven my worth. So the evidence is there if people look for it.
Well, not only with the like you said, with a lot of these other matches as well, but being a fan of the Star Wars division in general.
Yeah,
obviously. So you've watched all these matches multiple times. Do you have a favorite Star Wars division match overall?
I really like. So I actually like the older Star Wars matches a lot. Kind of when it was. I mean, I like it now where it's super intense and I love it. Yeah. But I love the really simple kind of stripped down stuff where it's like Sam Witwer. I love Sam Witwer and Freddie Prinze Jr. against what is it? It's Knapsack and
Campia.
Campia, that's right. I love that match. I think it's just fun. Like I love watching stuff like that. I love Freddie Prinze and Sam Witwer for that matter. But so yeah, that's probably my favorite match overall. I love that one. I've probably watched that one the most out of all of them. Yeah.
So you've seen them all. How would you compare the trivia that are in especially the current trivia in Star Wars with the trivia that you've done on these like the bar trivia and the Zoom trivia? Is it more difficult?
I think definitely in the recent matches, the Star Wars trivia in the Schmodown has gotten more intense than some of the matches that I've done, just because it's gotten, like you said, this is going to be the most this is the most competitive time for the Star Wars division. So naturally, the questions have to start getting harder and harder. And I still find those manageable. Like I still very well, operate in that field. But there's still some tough ones in the events that I'm doing. It's not very easy at all. There's always like one or two in any given round that will stump me. But luckily, it stumps everybody else too. So
all right.
But yeah, so it's. Yeah, I would say the Schmodown at this point is more difficult, but I still keep up.
It's so hard too. It's amazing to me, especially for question writers, for them to come up with as many questions as they have in such a without repeating all that many.
Oh yeah,
which is just a small number of films, and obviously everything from what kind of guns, the ships to.
The numbers on ships, the numbers on cars.
The everything.
Yeah, that's true.
What kind of chemical was used for here? What kind of this? It's just like the species of, what kind of species was this character that was like in the background of the background of the background in the scene?
Right. Like, who was the fifth person to check in with Rogue Leader? And it's like, wait, what?
No, seriously.
That was in a deleted scene of a deleted scene.
Right. And I've seen it all. I'm ready for it. I'm so
That's
ready.
the thing about the Star Wars division, especially because you have seen it all, so you know that the answer is in there. Like
Yes.
it's in your brain somewhere. You've seen it.
Sure.
It's just a matter of like trying to find it. Like,
I have to dig it out somehow.
Well, even Kelsey says get the characters' blood types. Okay, but not really. But basically, the number of midichlorians they have in their blood.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Oh no, that was a question about Anakin's
only like
midichlorian
15 midichlorians, so no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if they scan something and like numbers show up on the scanner, and it's not even like a shot that's directly on it. They'll be like, "What was on that scanner?" And you're like, "I think it said this." Like maybe.
I have another. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's not that. I just said it's not super clear, and you're kind of guesstimating.
I have a hidden talent. I haven't talked about this hidden talent on any other show. So you guys are getting the real scoop here.
Exclusive.
I am fluent in Arabesh as well. In the written basic language. So those are like I'm good at pointing out those details in movies. They were just going into the whole thing where Han says hi is written on one of the bombs in the opening scene in The Last Jedi in Arabesh. I thought that's a great detail. But yeah, it's pretty fun. So if you can learn that. What'd you say?
What's the name of this language?
So the language itself is basic. It's called basic, but then the written alphabet is called the Arabesh. And it's like a weird Star Wars. It's a 1-to-1 translation of our alphabet. But it took me a while to learn it, but once you get the hang of it, it's so fun. So that's a hidden talent.
Before the Schmodown, I thought I was a Star Wars fan.
You're guys.
Not at all. Like,
right. Well, I still can't speak Shriwook or anything. I can't do anything.
Oh no, not there yet, huh?
Not there yet.
Okay,
not a real fan yet.
You know what I'm hearing? What I'm taking away from this conversation is that you have an edge that no other competitor has.
Alex Damon might be fluent in Arabic. Who knows?
Language.
Alex Damon might have written Arabic.
Yeah, he might. It's true. It's very true. No, who knows? Some of the other competitors, if they know it, tell me. Let's write secret code.
I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I'm actually really curious. Okay, guys, hanging out. Okay, anyone in the chat, or anyone, any of the rookies, Star Wars rookies, or anything, or IG competitors in general. Can anyone else read or speak this fictional Star Wars language? Because I got it.
I'm waiting for a competitor to write their answer down and Christian to go, "That's wrong," and they say, "Oh, I wrote it in Arabesh."
Right. Yeah. No, seriously. That would be incredible. The amount of they'd have to go through and check it. It would take 20 minutes in the middle of a match. They'd have to translate it. That would be horrible. That'd be so rude. But I would do it.
Oh, and real quickly, Kelsey mentioned, I'm trying to learn Arabesh, getting my kids' names tattooed on Arabesh eventually. So that's pretty awesome.
That's
so
really cool,
I guess, yeah, there you go.
That's really great.
And now, when you sent us, you guys, everyone in the chat, I'm sure if you guys saw the thumbnail we had going on earlier, Evan, you had picked a very particular shirt.
Yeah, I did.
Which I appreciate.
Yes.
It is referencing The Shining with a not so famous hotel called the Overlook Hotel. Do you like The Shining?
I love The Shining. I actually forgot that I have this mask in my pocket right now as well. So I'm glad I had that on standby.
Okay, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, actually, The Shining is one of my favorite horror movies. That's another thing. I really love horror movies.
Horror.
I'm very into mostly. I think most of the best stuff has been the recent indie stuff. I like a lot of the classics too. Favorite horror movie of all time is The Exorcist for me. But I think a lot of the newer stuff, stuff like Hereditary or The Witch. I love stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, The Shining's a classic though. It's undeniably a classic.
So you like a lot of the psychological stuff. Just it's not just scary, it also messes with your head.
Sure. I think stuff I loved the movie that got me. One of the movies that got me the most was the first time I saw Blair Witch Project. Killed me. Because you never see like anything in that movie. It's all tension. And
Wait, how old were you when you saw that movie for the first time? Because you were a wee lad.
I was like 16, actually. I didn't watch it until I was like already a teenager.
I'd say a movie came out in like 99, and you were I doubt you were 3 years old seeing it.
No. My mom did not take me to see that. Yeah, no. No, so I watched that when I was a teenager, but I was alone, and I'm still scared of like being alone in the dark. I don't like that at all. So that's the best way to watch something scary for me. I love it. So yeah, that's a great one too.
Star Wars has kind of started to kind of dabble in other genres because The Mandalorian is basically a Western.
Oh yeah, no, seriously.
First season. What would be your ideal Star Wars horror movie?
I've seen some great ideas of like
have that, Alfred.
There's like
we had an episode of we had a Star Wars horror story. That was an episode in the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
okay, it was based off
spider one.
It was so good.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about though.
No, I think
Evan, tell us your horror story.
Yeah, no, I think one of them that I've heard was like basically it's like a monster movie, but it's about like a wampa, kind of just lurking in the shadows of like a cave on Hoth. I think that would be kind of cool. I'm trying to think of some of the other creepy stuff that exists in the Star Wars universe. Like, I think you could do a really interesting psychological thriller about the dark side. Because I think of the psychological toll that having all that pent up hatred must have on you for so long. You have to go to some pretty dark places mentally. And I think that would be kind of cool.
Well, you have the whole thing on Dagobah where like the dark side had been there so long and it was actually like manifesting itself. Like, so I mean, that's all sorts of ideas you could have. I mean, in especially in the 4, 5, and 6, especially 4 and 5, like there are like little horror movie-esque things in them. I mean, the whole scene in the asteroid with they're in the giant worm thing.
Yeah.
Like, you probably know the name of that.
Yeah. Are you talking about oh man, my knowledge. I think it's called the Exogorth.
There we go. We'll go with that. It is the Exogorth.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. Let me verify.
Going on inside of it. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, it's the Exogorth. I got it.
Yes,
I got it.
Whew. Didn't even have to go to multiple voice. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, you heard it here live, folks.
That was within 15 seconds for sure. You're good.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. That's how you win belts. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was like, can I get JT, please? No.
Well,
got it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something I kind of, well, honestly, I know it's a super hot take, but I think I'm not a huge Star Wars person.
That's fine.
I didn't grow up with a huge love for, the franchise or anything.
Sure.
The thing is, my favorite Star Wars movie is actually Rogue One. And I know it's a huge hot take. I just enjoy that. That's one I rewatch more than any of the other Star Wars films. I think it's a great movie.
That's a good one.
What I really like the idea about it is that it's a heist movie at its core. It's a heist movie, and I really like that idea. Like, I would love to see Shakespeare in the Star Wars universe. Right. I would love to get like a star-crossed romance.
Yeah.
I would love another heist movie. I would love horror movies.
Right.
I would love an intense family
crime movie. You can make another crime movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember I remember, I don't know who I was talking to. I was like, you know what? I'd love to see a family drama. I would love to see a really good like crime family drama with on opposing sides, like Frank Costello from The Departed, only in space. Like, that's what I want.
Like,
and then I don't know who told me, but they were like, that's like literally Star Wars.
Right. That's like, Star Wars is a massive family drama. George Lucas called it. He said it's a soap opera.
It's just not as much, fucks, and it doesn't take place in Boston. No.
I feel like now that the Star Wars or the Skywalker saga is completed, it opens up so many more opportunities for things that you can do.
Oh yeah,
I mean, because you can make all these like genre-esque films. You can make a war movie where it literally is like following like a platoon of like either rebels or stormtroopers or whatever, and it's just 8 no-name actors that are just in a war movie that's Star Wars, and it's like, I'd watch that. Like
Band of Brothers, but Star Wars.
Yeah, right. Band of Rebels.
Oh yeah, nice. That's good. Yeah, like I think what's cool that's coming out, a lot of the stuff that's coming out. I've wanted to see Star Wars like mini series for a long time. Like I've said it, I will go to my grave with this. I think that a mini series is the perfect way to tell a story because you're not confined by the 2 hours or 3 hours or however long of a movie, but also it doesn't have to go on forever. Like you can go as deep as you want to go and tell as compelling a story as you want to tell, and it gives you time to breathe. So that, like, I think the Kenobi series is going to be a mini series, so that's great. I'm very into that.
I also beg to differ.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
just the thing is, I definitely agree with you. The thing is, I love miniseries, and that's what I actually like about British television is that they do miniseries, and same like in a lot of like Japanese and Korean TV, they love miniseries. Actually, miniseries is so much more than like regular TV shows.
Sure.
And we don't do that here all that much.
No, like, it's not. It's not very common.
Not on the same level.
Right.
But I would love to see that happen. And the thing is, there's certain things where I'm like, I don't think it needs a miniseries. Like, I don't need to see like a 6 hour long, like 6 episodes of like a Mission Impossible movie.
Right.
Like, I don't need to see that. I mean, like you can make a really good 2 hour, really perfect Fallout. Perfect. Right on 2 hours. It's like 2 hours and 5 minutes or something. And you can make it amazing. Nice and tight as a film. But sometimes when it comes to miniseries, I mean, like, let's face it, like sometimes they can get so drawn out in a way that's like, no, just
they take too long.
If you're gonna give me a fighter pilot, movie, I want it to be all about the action and fast and really cool. I don't want to hang out in someone's room for like 10 hours. Like,
see, that's all I want. All I want is I want to just hear people talking, and then just at the end of it, I cry. At the end of it, it brings me to tears. That's all I want. I just want something emotional and slow. I'm boring. Yes, I love good drama. So yeah,
I think with the age of streaming that we're in, is we're basically gonna get miniseries. Like we're gonna get, we're not going to get the 22 episode TV shows that we used to get where like you sign, you're okay, we'll make a TV show, and they're like, okay, cool. And they're like, all right, I need 16 episodes. And they're like, oh no, you got to make 22. So you got to find 6 more episodes to fill in this story. And you get these random like bottle episodes or like ridiculous flashback episodes that you don't even care about. And you're just like, I want to see the story. Like, and that's the beauty of like, even like, look at The Mandalorian. Like The Mandalorian is, even The Mandalorian, I felt like maybe could have been like 2 episodes shorter in each season. I agree. But
I totally agree.
Not 22. If it was 22 episodes that they had to fill in of The Mandalorian, it'd be episodic. It'd be the same thing it'd be the bounty of the week format. You'd be like, I don't care about this anymore.
People get so tired of it. It's like, wow. It'd be like Days of Our Lives, but in Star Wars.
Well, that's really wonderful about Star Wars, especially its original trilogy, is that it wasn't exactly a few months, or there wasn't a Star Wars movie released every single year or anything like that. There was like years in between to really let all the information really marinate.
They make you wait for
really let it sit with you as fans. Yeah, like absorb all that information.
Right.
And every time you get a movie, it's like fucking A. But suddenly, we're getting miniseries, we're getting TV shows, we're getting more movies on top of that, and it's like part of me is like it doesn't so much take away a lot of that. I think it adds to the fandom, obviously, and I say that as someone that's not a massive massive fan of Star Wars, but as a casual fan of Star Wars, it's almost, it can be overwhelming, especially as someone that's going into Star Wars for the first time.
Sure.
So it's a lot of information, there's a lot of backstory for every single person, and it's just like, do I even want to try to be a fan? Do I even want to get into this? It's just too damn much.
Oh, it's a lot.
Showdown.
It's certainly a lot. It's overwhelming.
Evan Bushkar.
Yes, it's overwhelming because I think I can't imagine trying to enter the saga at this point. Like, and that's the thing is I'm not somebody who I'm not going to judge anyone for their level of fandom for Star Wars. I'm very I have a very peaceful mindset about Star Wars fans and like the way they should approach like newcomers and everything. I don't like this gatekeeping bullshit that people do where, they try and keep people out because, oh, you didn't grow up with it like I did.
Star Wars, no.
Yeah, your mom didn't take you to see it 9 times like mine did. No. But like, I think it's, these movies are for everybody and, watch them to your comfort level. There are some that you can just watch by themselves. Like A New Hope is designed to be on its own. Like you can watch that one and have a good time with it. Same with like Rogue One, even once you've seen A New Hope. So yeah, just have a good time.
I also think it's kind of funny. People have to be reminded that when Star Wars initially came out, it was made for children.
Yeah, it's true.
It was made for young people.
Yeah.
And I remember when like the franchise when it kind of came out again in the 90s with the prequels, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so different. It's made for kids." And then suddenly like George Lucas was like, "Yeah.
Yeah." It's like, what did you think this was?
It's supposed to be made for kids. The originals were made for kids.
It's one of those, like,
watch a little bit.
It's like when you watch it as a kid and then you grow up with it, you mature, and in your mind, the movie matures with you because you're like, I'm an adult. I keep liking this, so this is now an adult thing. And then it like resets back to like, you're like, oh wait, this is for kids. Like, wait a minute. But then also the other thing is like Star Wars is one of those franchises, and there's not that many of them where people literally like have their entire identity is from these movies, these stories, whatever. And so it's like there's not a struggle to have a disconnect between someone not liking their movies and then not liking them. And it's like, no, it's not a personal attack. You're not George Lucas. You didn't make
You know what? Hey,
it's not your baby.
I have that relationship with Schmodown, Belford, so how dare you? Schmodown
I know
is
you
my
do.
entire personality.
Right.
So
Star Wars is everything I have.
baby.
It's the only thing I have
can't
left.
like you. We're not going to be friends.
Still real to me.
It's true. I haven't so much ended relationships. I haven't ended friendships, but I like once I found out that they thought like once I would hang out with them like a handful of times, I'd introduce Schmodown to them. They were like, yeah, this is stupid. Who cares what this? Suddenly I was like, no, we're not going to be friends.
Yeah.
We're going to be like acquaintances. Yeah.
Right.
It sucks. But that was your reaction. So that's it. That's as far as this friendship can go.
Yeah. Can't look back on that now. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like that when it comes to Schmodown at all? If you're like, sorry, not Schmodown, or whether it be Schmodown or it comes to Star Wars, if you're introducing, to like friends, family, or whatever, like, does it hurt your heart if they don't get it?
I think I don't mean to bring this movie up too much, but when it, with conversations of The Last Jedi, the amount of arguments I've had where it's like I just feel like this other person doesn't get it, like in the way that I feel like I'm getting it. I've grown used to the idea that like nobody's going to be pleased all the time. I guarantee you, in 20 years, people are going to love the sequel trilogy. It's just people love the prequels now that hated it 20 years ago. Or they hated them 20 years ago, and it's the cycle changes and it keeps repeating, and the sooner people realize that, the better. But basically, I have no problems with people who don't like Star Wars. It's not going to appeal to everybody. I will say I had this one person in middle school, not middle school. This was in high school. Like 2 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. This was a while back. So this person, she told me that she had never seen Star Wars. I was like, oh, you should watch Star Wars. Like, you should try it. And she was like, no, it's stupid. And I'm like, how are you gonna say that when you've never seen it? Like, be careful with your judgment. It basically like, don't rip something apart unless you've seen it. Like, I see people being so like vitriolic about this new series of books.
Ooh, do you play that towards movies in general or just a Star Wars?
I would say toward movies in general. Like, I think that's
Did you say that about 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, yeah, I have no right to criticize that movie because I've never seen it. So
All right. I appreciate that as a film fan. I really, really do.
I'm a
And I said it
filmmaker. That's like I have
yeah.
no judgment for movies before I see them.
Well, I am just going to confirm what we're all thinking, which is the films are trash. Fifty Shades of Grey is trash.
You mean they're the greatest films ever created?
So bad.
It's funny because like people will like ask someone like what their favorite comedy is, right?
Yeah.
And someone will say, "Oh, this is my favorite comedy." And someone can say, "Well, I like this comedy," and you're like, "Okay, that's cool. Like now I know what your sense of humor is, and I know what your sense of humor is. It doesn't make me liking another comedy somehow different." And I treat Star Wars like that. I'll ask somebody like, "What's your favorite Star Wars movie?" And if they say, Empire Strikes Back, I get an idea of what they like about Star Wars, what they don't like about Star Wars. If they say The Last Jedi, then I get an idea of what they like about Star Wars and what they might not like about Star Wars. It's you can tell me Solo is your favorite Star Wars movie, which I've never had happen to me. But I would know what you like about Star Wars, or at least what you like about movies. And that's the beauty of Star Wars. It's something in Star Wars for everyone. They might not know it's for them, but you can find something just about every in some Star Wars movie that you like. I do have to ask you your thoughts on Y-Wings because Thomas Harper needs to know your thoughts on Y-Wings.
Well,
Thomas knows my thoughts.
I am going to just bring up a statement that was brought up. Thomas Harper said that the only gatekeeping I do is judging anyone who doesn't agree that Y-Wings are the greatest starfighters in the galaxy.
Thomas, prepare to judge. Prepare to pass holy judgment because the X-Wing is a far superior craft. In mobility and firepower, there is no comparison, Thomas. And I am the one wielding the name Gold Leader. And that should tell you something. So
I will say this then. It is typically in the history of the military, you put your best fighters in your least best planes because they can stay alive in them. You put your least best fighters in your best planes because anybody can fly that plane. So the best star fighters are Y-Wing pilots.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair too. And I love a good Y-Wing, but I'm just, there's something about an X-Wing, man. There's just something about.
We all know TIE fighters are better than all of them. It's fine.
No, I totally disagree. Those things do not have hyperdrives, at least not in the original trilogy. They don't have hyperdrives.
Single craft in Star Wars. It is Darth Vader's TIE fighter from A New Hope. It's the most badass thing anyone had ever seen.
In Legends, they could not even land on their wings because they were crushed under their own weight.
We don't need semantics. We don't need details. It doesn't have to work.
You guys, I just want to say, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are going to be wrapping things up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we did get a stream lab from Mr. John Lestrina, who says, I think we should all take a moment to celebrate the fact that PLD isn't wasting our time tonight. Thankfully, Alex is here. So, John Lestrina, a man after my own heart. Just putting that out there. Also, before we wrap things up here, I just want to let you guys know if you have any questions, comments, any big Star Wars questions you want to ask our dear Evan here, please let us know in the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer.
Me anything. Ask me your most controversial Star Wars questions. Let's grill me right now. Let's do it.
What is the best Star Wars video game?
Grill away.
The best Star Wars video game ever made is Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005.
Yes, Thomas.
That's a good one.
Molly, come on, hit us. Let us know. Okay, Evan, real quickly.
Yeah.
What is a Star Wars property? That's not in the films. None of the Star Wars films in particular that you think should be added to the Star Wars division.
So meaning like beyond, does it have to be canonical? Can it just be anything?
We don't know what that means, but sure.
It could be the comic books. It could be any of the it could be it could be a specific
it can be all the stuff
one of
that
the animated series.
Exist.
It could be one of the book series, because I know there's 50 million book series. It could be the Mandalorian series.
This is gonna sound like a joke, and I mean it in all seriousness. I would love to get some questions on the Star Wars Holiday Special in there. I have watched the thing annually for the past few years every Christmas. Oh no, it's not because it's not. It doesn't.
Theatrical release.
It's not canonical.
Oh come
like it's yeah. And I would love for that to exist because they've never officially released it. It only survived. It only survived because it aired one time and people taped it. So most of the copies you buy now, they still have the original ads attached to it and everything from '78. And so I love that thing. I think it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's weird. But it's really fun.
Is it the one that's available on Disney Plus now?
No. That's the Lego one. Because they did that was kind of a big deal because that was like a huge when they announced they were going to do a second holiday special, everyone was freaking out. But the first one, it's never been released anywhere officially. So, but look it up. It's on YouTube. It's like almost 2 hours long.
I've seen them all.
Yeah. No.
That'd be cool.
That's what I would probably add.
Belford, what are you? What's the property would you want to see added?
What's that?
Oh, is there a Star Wars property that you would like to see added to Schmodown? To the Star Wars division? Mm-hmm.
I would man. I mean, obviously the Mandalorian, that's really good stuff. I think they should add that in. That just makes the most sense. If I were to something I would love to see the old Legends books, the Timothy Zahn books, because they're not even in canon anymore, but I love those books. I wish they would make those into movies and then add them to the Star Wars division. I just want them to make more Star Wars movies. Just make more I don't need Skywalker. I don't want anything. I don't even want the name Skywalker. I don't want any characters that we know. Give me all new characters. It's a universe. It's never ending, ever expanding. We're talking about one family bloodline. What the hell? Come on, come up with something new.
I do think they have a winner over here. Lewis Cox said, I would love to see a pod racer movie or even a brand new pod racer game. Yo, I remember that N64 game. That game was wonderful. Okay.
That would be cool.
It was fantastic. Okay.
Pod racing movie would be neat. But yeah.
I gotta say, the correct answer, guys, is actually Star Wars: The Clone Wars. The Clone Wars have been added.
That's a great series. I love that series.
Pretty darn cool. Yeah. Just saying.
A pod racing movie where it's like Days of Thunder, but it's pod racing. It's nothing. The whole movie is just about pod racing. These guys.
I just straight up want a Fast and Furious movie just with pod racers.
Oh yes. Please bring Vin Diesel into this. Please.
They're already superheroes. They're going to space and stuff nowadays. They've been at Antarctica. They've driven through submarines and stuff. Shifts.
Bring Vin Diesel. What's that? I was just saying, bring Vin Diesel into this pod racer movie, please. I would love to see. I'd love to see him talk about family in the Star Wars.
He's going to be a disgruntled retired pod racer that's inspired to return to racing again.
Absolutely, that's incredible.
After his baby nephew, convinces him or something.
This movie writes itself.
Guys, just give me the money.
Pod racers. It could be the speeders from Return of the Jedi. You can add all kinds of stuff, all sorts of new vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
It's funny. Return of the Jedi is the first movie I remember watching where I was old enough to realize that someone died, but they didn't tell you that they died.
Right.
Because when some of the stormtroopers just crash into a tree.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, he's dead.
Oh no, it's brutal. I think the way they said this in the behind the scenes, the speeder bikes are going 120 miles an hour. Yeah. And somebody hit the root end of a tree going 120 miles an hour. That's not. Somebody got the clothesline. Somebody got clothesline too. Remember? The Ewoks are savages, man. It's crazy.
You know what would be really like hilarious. So we like somehow random. Okay, what's really great about Star Wars is a lot of the creativity behind a lot of the creatures and animation and all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
What if like in the background, now that it's a Disney film, what if we just had like Groot just casually like walk around in the back?
That'd be great. That's it. Yeah, he just blends right in, man.
We get that Disney cameo.
Lucasfilm, if you want to do another special,
Peter Quill would just be like, Groot, come on, we have to go.
good.
Guys,
No,
again,
there's so many possibilities with all these connected properties. Yeah.
Like, Han and Peter Quill just run into each other and then just keep walking.
That's good. What was No, it would again. This stuff writes itself. This is like it's all. These are great ideas. We got to take these to Kathy.
That's right. Oh my gosh!
Fast and Furious to the Galaxy. Yes, absolutely.
That's the prequel to the prequels.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
No.
All right. Even something. Let's go. Elephant and Justin. No. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
I also, John, I gotta give you that Fast and Furious. The exhibition match is coming, my dude. It's coming.
That's good. That's great.
All right. Okay, guys, we are going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes before we ask our final questions. So before we leave, Evan, where can we find you? All of the awesome stuff you're working with, as well as Nobody's Watching podcasts.
So here's my thing. It's at Evan Bushkar. You can see this little, wait, you see where it's going right now? Yeah. Name at Evan Bushkar on Twitter.
It's scrolling. It's scrolling.
Yeah, I'm saying I think I'm matching up to it. Let me know if I'm matching up to it really well.
Great,
but anyway,
you're doing great.
Yeah. So go find me there. I have a podcast. It's only on Facebook right now because apparently I'm an old man. It's called Nobody's Watching Anyway. It's me and my brother just talking about random stuff about our lives together and things and our experiences. And then I have a cartoon as well. It's a weird name. It's called Taxi Servits. It's SERV-ITS. I make that with another guy. And yeah, that's one of my other projects. It's a little passion project I'm working on. And then, yeah, on Twitter and all this stuff, I always post like my short films and stuff whenever I make stuff. So find me there and you should be able to see everything.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Belford, where can we see you and your beautiful face?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Billy Belford, making Magic the Gathering cards of all of the Call to Action crew. You can also find me here on Call to Action, on occasionally on Twitch Tuesdays or any other random shows I show up on, but I'm also starting my own show. It'll be every other Monday. Once Chill to Action goes to every other Monday, I'll be the opposite Monday from them. And it'll be Turning Up to 11. It'll be a top 10 style show of things from the Schmodown. Our debut episode will be the 10 greatest moments in Schmodown history, but we turn it up to 11 because 11's better than 10. And so that'll be coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait. Even like Lucas asked me about it earlier today. He's like, hey, he was like, Alex, he's my husband, by the way, Evan. And he was like, Alex, is Belford getting his own show? And I was like, yeah. It's like some kind of like top 10 situation. And he's like, yeah, it's turned up to 11. I know. When's it coming out? And I was like, I don't know. Damn, calm down.
Lucas is the greatest.
It's good.
Not to put fire under your ass or anything, Belford, but Lucas wants to get some answers. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's saying something. And
when I know, he'll know.
That's exactly. Yes, I will let him know promptly for sure. But I'm Alex Mack, part of the Collection crew. You can find me on Twitter. All the links and all that good stuff, including Evan's, is down below in the description box. You can also find me hosting not Schmobots, that's not the word, Schmobates. It is our Schmodown themed debate show here at C2 Way, as well as co-hosting the show Cinema Bias, where Video Drew and I dive into a movie outside of our comfort zone and really challenge each other to watch a movie that downright makes us uncomfortable. So we're excited to do that. So yeah. All right. Now, just real quick before we wrap it up, just
Yeah.
to answer just a few questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Party is asking Empire Strikes Back or Rise of Skywalker?
I gotta say Empire on this one.
I think-
I like every Star Wars movie. Empire is it's the golden child of the saga. It's that's a beautiful movie. I love that one.
That's great.
He actually corrected himself because that's obviously not. That's a very easy question to answer. He actually meant Attack of the Clones or the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, so this is probably a hot take. Attack of the Clones, I would say.
Ooh.
I really like Attack of the. Well, I like the prequels a lot, and I'll tell you why. And I'll be quick. I love the deep political intricacies of those movies. I think seeing how a peaceful democracy becomes a dictatorship, it's so compelling, and no one talks about that because everyone's like, "Oh, this is different." That was what you were saying. That was the problem that people had, was that it was different. But it's really good political storylines if you pay attention and if you like that kind of thing. So I would say Attack of the Clones.
You can get past
This
the
is
Jar
America.
Jar.
Don't
Yeah.
do political intrigue.
I love Jar Jar as well. That's another hot take.
Oh, that is a hot
See, I'm a
take.
clumsy person, so I find a great relation with it.
Okay, Evan, fun fact. Okay, so my uncle, he actually was involved. I don't even know what the name of the company is. Something Light, the Star Wars company for people. Something Light that they do a lot of the Star Wars. They do the Star Wars films and stuff.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Industrial
I was like, wait.
Light Magic. Okay, so my uncle, well, technically uncle-in-law. So my uncle, he was involved with the making of the movies. And so if you freeze it in certain areas, you can actually see him in the background because there's a handful of points where you can actually, because they were just trying to fill in bodies. So they had to like Photoshop themselves into it. So they had to they put themselves in the costume and did it. So it's kind of funky, but he was actually involved with, apparently it was award-winning technology, which I have no idea about, but
That's really
involved with the technology and the algorithm that created Jar Jar's cheeks, making them as mobile.
That's nice.
And intricate as they were, which is really funky.
That's actually really cool.
But a little fun fact for you.
ILM is incredible. They're like one of the best companies in the world. So.
I've talked about it before where it's like, I'm not a huge Star Wars person. However, something I will never, ever doubt or fight against is a huge impact Star Wars has had on film and just film technology as in general. It's like
George Lucas was an innovator and he changed everything.
Yeah.
So
MCU Star Wars crossover, the crossover no one asked for. I beg to differ. Can you imagine Loki in the Star Wars universe? Like, can you picture like Loki and like Kylo like being like, hey, evil bros, what's up?
Obi-Wan having to deal with Loki's shenanigans would be
like Luke Skywalker like mentoring Peter Quill. Can we make that happen?
Yes, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
I think
Kathy.
I feel like things like this have happened before in like comic books and stuff. Comic books always have like random crossovers and random like you'll see things like that in different universes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And real quickly, I want a Han Solo and Deadpool team up. Ooh, can you picture that?
That would be neat. There was I think their characters would clash because Deadpool. I love Deadpool, but he's annoying. Like Han does not have a tolerance for any kind of nuisance like him. So I think that would be kind of fun.
Deadpool and Lando Calrissian team up.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. Oh, somebody asked earlier what my favorite Star Wars comic was. The Lando comic, the Lando miniseries. If anyone's read that, the Lando Marvel miniseries, it's 5 issues. Really compelling story. That's great. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
let's face it, in order to create a good movie, you gotta have a good story. You can't have one without the other. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And also, please, go check Evan out on Twitter. Check him out. Inevitably, you are 100% gonna. We need to see you get drafted. I can't wait to see you get drafted. I am putting it out into the universe, so it is bound to happen. Speaking it into the future. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we are going to be calling it quits for the evening. And we'll see you soon. And happy Schmodown Almost Draft Day. So
yes, absolutely.